they can still show a little bit of that magic. We've seen some glimpses of it here today, and I'm curious to see what will happen here as we enter the draft. LeBlanc and Aurelia banned away from GA.
Seems that it doesn't matter who the mid laner is. They don't want them having any of the picks that they would like. LeBlanc banned away, pretty much the go-to mid laner at the moment if you're looking at a blind pick. Very few matches that she struggles with, and they want to make sure that GA is not on something that can be blind picked.
Mordekaiser are going to be taken off the board, as well as Renekton, and Rumble is finally going to be removed. So now the question will be, what does Forge fall back on at this stage? Aphelios is available. We've not seen it in the hands of iBoy in this series.
So previously Vici had put high priority on the Elise in these situations to try and get Ike something decent. It also lends itself to if Forge wants to go for the Jace, but with the Lucian up as well, I mean, why not go back to it? iBoy looked fantastic. They still have that triple flex potential there, and Koma's going to be pretty happy with that one.
He's going to be able to get that Lucian that iBoy did so well on last game. And honestly, like, we keep on praising iBoy. It wasn't necessarily about the kills he was getting. It wasn't about his score at the end. When you look at the scoreboard, it's not going to look like iBoy was the one, but you could see as they were leading up to that final team fight, excuse me, I just got caught in my throat there. iBoy was itching to get on into the fight. He was being aggressive, trying to force the issue and trying to bait the enemy team into a fight. He did it successfully. On the other side of the scoreboard, though, we are going to see the Aphelios locked on in here for DMO.
We will have to see if Xiao Peng goes back towards this Kiana. Wasn't convinced. Now with the Rumble gone, I feel like the priority for the likes of the Jarvan may drop, but still plenty of early game junglers that Ikes could go towards. And stuff like the Gragas. You've also got the likes of the Elise that is still up and available if they want to go with that direction. But we'll have to see exactly what Vici decide to prioritize here in the draft.
Let's see where they go. Kiana is going to be picked up much earlier in the draft than what we saw out of them previously in this series. It's been second rotation both other games, but deciding that Xiao Peng wants to get that lock-in earlier on, and now Maestro going to answer that one with the Leona. And I'm curious to see if this Lucian is going to go into the hands of iBoy once again, or whether that's flexed to the top or the mid lane.
It's in ways very nice because it denies a lot of the picks that DMO would like to go for when you're on the going to be looking to try and counter pick one of your lanes in the last pick on the red side. You've got the Gangplank, which is a great blind pickable top laner that you could go for, especially but the problem is that it loses quite hard to the Lucian. You have the LeBlanc, who would be the blind pickable mid laner, who's also gone now. So these picks that can potentially be flexed about aren't really there. The other option that I would look towards here is maybe go for the Renekton and then see if you can just have that safe top laner. We saw the Cube even in what was a counter matchup. Oh, sorry, the Renekton's actually gone now, so there goes that whole point. But that's the thing, is that DMO, you're kind of starting to pinch the picks that have that flexibility in the draft.
Yeah, the Nautilus is going to be locked in, so both bot lanes going to be confirmed. Well, assuming that iBoy gets that Lucian once again. But as we head on into the bans, it's going to be Ornn and Gragas taken off the board. What else are you expecting here?
It is most certainly going to be another top lane ban, but I'm trying to go through my picks here to look at what we could potentially see. I'm not sure what's kind of left up in the top lane.
I mean,
right now, maybe the Rise and the Aatrox could be the two that I'd go towards. Aatrox would make sense, but you're also leaving, you know, not an awful lot there for yourself. So they are going to ban away the Jace from Forge, realizing, look, if they've picked the Elise, chances are they're trying to angle towards some sort of AD mid laner. So now trying to get Forge away from that, and now they should be able to pick up, I'd imagine, the Aatrox for themselves on Dominus' side.
We'll see if that's something they want to go for there. Natural didn't have the greatest performance on a carry last game, so he could be relegated to tank duty, but we're kind of running out of available tanks. I mean, I say we're running out. Ornn has been banned. That's basically the only tank that's played at the top lane at the minute. Cassiopeia is going to be the hover, as Vladimir was actually taken off the board here by the side of VG.
I think the Cassiopeia makes sense when you're looking at the mid laners that you would potentially go for here. A lot of them already lose out in the matchup to the Cassiopeia, the likes of the Rise. Wouldn't imagine that we're going to see too many assassins left up for them to try and go for it to get onto that Cassiopeia, but we'll have to see exactly if they want to go for that, or they can just pop that Lucian in towards the mid lane and then just look to have this Cassiopeia scale up.
We'll have to see if Xie is going to have more in his pocket than Xiao Wei did when it comes to the Cassiopeia. Didn't really see the greatest of performances out of the mid laner last time. He's been subbed out. Now Xie going to go with the same pick as his predecessor. We'll see if the performance can be different, but the answer right now is going to be the cannon for the top lane, as well as that misfortune for iBoy.
And I like this pick here. You've already got the Elise to try and get your early game snowballing. You want something that can really be a big CC bot in your team fights to try and enable the Leona as well. Kennen fits that alongside being a safe top laner with the likes of the Renekton taken away. Means that you haven't got a lot of things that can try and dive and cover the distance onto that Kennen.
Well, the final lock-in is going to be the Camille coming out for Natural. I'm excited to see this matchup. Carries on both sides once again. Cube versus Natural. So far, it's been going the way of Cube when it comes down to the 1v1, certainly in the last game. We'll see if Natural's going to be able to match it. Camille, it's one of those champions similar to Riven. Most matchups are a skill matchup, but Camille, one of these champions that if things go a little bit awry, they can fall apart very quickly.
Especially if you're going to be looking at potentially Dominus having Natural flank to get into these team fights. You can set up pretty well to have just the Camille split push the whole game if you'd like. They do have a strong 4-man composition in the setup from Nautilus and the Kiana, with the rest of the damage coming through from that bottom lane as well. I think that could be the best option for them to go for on the Dominus side. On Vici's side, very much we want to team fight. We want to have Kennen get in, have that big slicing maelstrom to rip through the health bars that are on Dominus, and have the Lucian follow up alongside the Misfortune as well. The Culling and Bullet Time combo is so hard for teams to deal with because of how much AoE damage comes through so quickly.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult, even with a massive front line, to survive that sheer upfront damage that just burns through those health bars. We'll have to see what they're going to be able to do about this one. It's game number 3 now between Vici Gaming and Dominus Esports, both with 1 point on the board. And it has to be said, Dominus' victory was more convincing than that we saw from Vici Gaming. However, a win is a win. It doesn't matter how you do it at the end of the day. All that matters is that point on the board. And Vici Gaming is certainly not out of it yet.
And I think I prefer this composition for where the struggles for Vici have been. They were struggling with the wave clear. They've got good wave clear between Misfortune and also this Lucian. They were struggling in team fights. They've got a great team fighting composition here. Early game, once they started to get Ikes ahead, looked fantastic for them. Again, they win out in the jungle in that respect because they've got the Elise that can work very well on the terror dives if they decide to go bot lane with the Leona. So this is all starting to come towards what Vici's problems were and starting to put the band-aids over them.
Let's have some T-Tours in the chat. It's time to get into game. All right, we're about ready to jump on into this one. You can see the World Championship trophy still up there in the side lane.
I can't help but look at it and think it looks like a half Pokeball, though.
It does look a bit like a half Pokeball. It has to be said. But no Pokemon in this game. Other creature capturing based games are available. Not a sponsor. Actually, I don't think any are available.
The way you were trying to cover yourself.
I don't know. Digimon also available. I don't know where I'm going with this one.
Throw as many names out as we can, but
I'm already out of that style of game at this point. Dear me. How disappointing.
I mean, we got to go with Legends of Runeterra. That's the way we got to go towards this one now. We're all Riot affiliated.
Yeah, I guess. Well, that's not really the same kind of game, is it? I was really hoping for Pokemon-based Breath of the Wild when Sword and Shield came out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were disappointed with that.
I mean, I think a lot of people actually really love that game. I enjoy it. I'm still playing it. But anyway, enough about Pokemon. Let's talk about these matchups right here. VG versus DMO. So far, drafts have been very interesting. Very different to how most teams are drafting. Koma definitely bringing his style to the LPL. Oh, that's a nice little hook coming out from Mark. Ignite already burnt immediately. Maestro doing a good job to block some of the damage, though. iBoy survives.
Does survive, but taken very low. Luckily, he does have the biscuits there, so we'll be able to top himself back up. But Mark starting off great, getting a good work in conjunction with with Gala, who had got the sniper rifle out, so was getting decent range to go for that trade.
GA taking a good chunk of damage from Forge as well. I love the aggressive play here on the Lucian. Ooh, so we take a look up towards the top side. Cube playing the carry cannon here. Going to go for Airy. It's fantastic for in these early stages. You can get so much more extra harassed at.
And that's exactly what Cube wants to be doing in these early stages. Ike's though, if that was the cocoon just to check the bush, that would have been incredible.
That would have been a game-changing blind play right there, but unfortunately, not going to go for that one. The Conqueror are going to be coming out here from GA on the Cassiopeia, so we'll have a lot of sustain in these fights and a lot of damage as well.
Isn't too worried about going for something like the phase rush, which we have seen Cassiopeia's doing to try and keep up. Instead, as he said, that sustain that they want to try and keep away from Cube was nerfed slightly, but still a decent option for the Cassiopeia.
Ike so far having a small advantage in the jungle here as he is the first one to get to the Scuttle Crab there. Xiaopeng had head back to base, and that means that he'll be slower on the draw when it comes to that. But that's the power of the Elise. Elise is going to be one of these junglers that in the very early stages of the game is going to find advantages. Cube does get stunned up here by Natural, trading back and forth, but that's a nice stun from Cube, and he will win out this trade in the end.
Natural needs to cool his jets a little bit. This is again where we're seeing him go aggressive, not really working out in his favor. Now you know there's about a 16 to 18 second cooldown on that engage, so we can go aggressive.
I love that from Maestro. Gets the Zenith Blade, stands right in front of Mark, and that is going to mean he has to flash away. Ignite was used, but they're happy to take a Nautilus flash as a reward.
Xiaopeng is hovering here, but will be spotted on the ward. So Maestro and iBoy, this time given the respect that is due to the Dominus jungler and not wanting to push up too far.
Will be denied here. Ike's hanging around towards this top side here. Cube won't be able to find the stun just yet, though, to force the issue, and Ike decides he's going to back away towards the rest of his jungle.
This is a pretty big win for Cube, though. I mean, you've already getting some poke damage onto Natural, who's only gone for the singular pot to get back to lane. Hasn't got the extra sustain that you'd expect from the likes of a Corrupting Potion. He'll be able to back away, has the level advantage and the CS advantage. So Cube setting up nicely in this top lane. And if you've got Ike's playing towards that side of the map as well, it makes it a lot more difficult for Xiaopeng and Natural to try and turn that around.
The more I look at these compositions, the more I like what Vici have managed to build for themselves here. Because when you look at what DMO's win conditions are, it's very much focused on the late game. Speaking of that, we do have a fight coming on in. Forge starting things off strong, and the rest of the team on their way. Forge going to survive as he flashes to safety, and Xiaopeng caught out without a prayer.
Great call from Vici, but in the top lane.
Natural looking for this 1v1. Cube might just be about to go down. Does find himself a stun. Lightning Dash not going to be available. One more second, and he might just get away. There's a slow, though, and Natural finds it. Can it be traded? That's the question. Ike's trying to dish out the damage, and I think he might just have it. Although Natural turning things around does not have the shield. The shield comes out. Ike's one more auto. It's not enough. Jumps over the wall, and there it is. Natural with a 2v1.
That was so well played by the top laner for Dominus. Finding the kill onto Cube had been a thorn in his side. Now they're going for the third one.
He wants some more Hextech Ultimatum, baby. Natural. We were saying he wasn't going to have this matchup. He wasn't going to have this game. He is making his mark.
And we saw him in the last game struggle against Cube. Says, predictions be damned. I don't care about the matchup. I'm making the plays. 3 kills for the Camille. And what a start. Dominus have now found and created their own win condition off of the back of this man.
And this little fight here around the Vision. Natural 1 HP away from getting the kill on Ike's. And Ike's is 1 HP away from getting the kill onto him. Finds the hook shot, finds the leg sweep as well. Beautiful stuff out of the top laner.
I'm so glad I get plays like this after trying to put up a BLG versus RNG yesterday, where I had nothing for so long, and now I get 3 beautiful kills, not even 7 minutes into the game.
And we had similar coming out from Zhao Wei earlier on in this series as well. Found himself the triple kill on the Zillion. This lineup of DMO individually really can pop off. The question for them is not how good are you individually. They've proven that they've got the stuff. The question is, can you find your win conditions? Can you work as a team?
Well, right now, they only need to rely on Natural. We said he couldn't be the one-man army in the last game. Potentially could be now with the Ravenous. Hydra picked up very quickly, starting to work up towards the Sheen. And Dominus reading what Ike's wants to do. They're the ones in control of this mid lane, and the bottom lane collapse towards the Dragon and shut down Ike's sneaky play.
Fantastic start to the game here as we reset, slow down a little bit. Gold is going to be dead even. And the 3 kills in the pocket of Natural, they're going to be nice. He does have a pretty large CS deficit, so that gold lead isn't going to be quite as dramatic as you'd think.
It's not massive at the moment, but there's ways for Dominus to look to expand or to extend this. You've got Xiaopeng now, who's just hit his level 6 in the jungle, will be able to clear up towards that top side. As this wave is about to hit from Natural, they can go for the dive onto Cube. They should be able to, using Natural's ultimate as well, start to flex as to who's getting that tower damage down and look to pick up a kill onto Cube. Then they can turn towards the Rift Herald. There's a lot of options now that they have this advantage in the top lane on Natural.
We'll have to see what Natural can do with the small lead he's gained for himself. 3 kills is not something to sniff at, that is for sure. He's got a Sheen in his back pocket now, as well as that Tiamat, so he's going to be able to do a lot of work. And this is one of the things about Camille. You can sometimes struggle in the early game before the items come on in, but once you start to get those Sheen procs, it can do wonders.
Ike's has started with this Rift Herald. I'm not sure if this is going to be another leash for the side of DMO, but with their bot lane, Gala and Mark putting pressure on the bottom lane turret, they're happy to trade the Rift Herald for those plates right now onto the bottom lane.
Oh my goodness, they're going very, very deep onto Natural here, but he tanks up basically all of that damage quite happily with his passive. The question is, what is being traded for the Herald here? This is going to be multiple turret plates going the way of DMO. Vici going to answer in the top lane.
I like this play from Vici. Oh, I was about to say not using the Rift Herald. They can just trade tower for tower and then try to use the Rift Herald elsewhere. But they're deciding, do you know what? We can try and push down this turret very quickly and move on towards that tier 2. There's only Natural here to defend. Now you're getting the backs from Xiaopeng and Mark.
This is very difficult to answer from this side of DMO. I love this kind of macro play coming out from the side of VG. This is something that's been lacking in this series a little bit. I know, we love to see it now. It looks like Natural will arrive. Not early enough to break the charge, though. It's only going to be half of a tier 2, though. It's not going to be able to be pushed into anything more.
Yeah, they won't really be able to capitalize on that tower being half health with Cube because of the amount of space he'd have to go down that lane to try and get the auto attacks down. Opens up for Xiaopeng to go for a gank, opens up for Natural to chase him down the long lane if possible. So this was going to be a to come later opportunity for Vici Gaming if they can get the advantages elsewhere on the map. In particular, you can see moving Cube down to the bottom lane to set up for this Mountain Drake in 2 minutes.
Now, it is very, very important to mention that in this trade of tier 1s, yes, 5 plates go to either side, but Gala gets all 5 plates to himself right there. Gala gets a huge spike of gold onto the side of this Aphelios. He's also almost 30 CS up. Phenomenal advantage on this AD carry position.
And you can see the difference already paid for right there. Essence Reaver fully completed for Gala, whereas you've only got the 2 components for iBoy. Aphelios starting to take the lead and as well the experience lead because he's got the level advantage but not sharing the experience. Don't forget, one of the things we haven't actually got to touch on, which was a big change coming into the new season, was the changes to CS share or experience sharing from your creeps. If you're on your own, you're getting more CS or more experience from each of those creeps, and that is why we're seeing Gala shoot ahead in that experience because Mark was forced to back, because Xiaopeng backed. Now we've got an Aphelios that is in a pretty good spot.
But it is still going to be a little while before Aphelios properly kicks off. Solar Flare coming on in bullet time as well, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is what MF Leona can do.
That's also what Xiaopeng should have been expecting when they're setting up around this mid lane. No vision in the river for DMO. Culling to try and force Gala back, but has the Infernum so can clear out these waves effectively.
will be able to defend the tower, but it is just going to be a nice little pick and a lot of gold going into the pocket of iBoy. Obviously fell a little bit behind in gold due to those turret plates. Will be able to close the gap just a little bit. He goes back and gets himself the Essence Reaver.
They have just wasted that bullet time as that Mountain Drake is about to spawn though, so this should be a non-contest from Vici Gaming as DMO have moved over to try and pick up this dragon. You see Ike's is hovering around, potentially looking for the steal, but I don't think you want to.
Zhao Peng playing 4D chess here, feed to win. He knows he'll respawn quicker than bullet time will come back up. He's on a whole other level.
Yeah, I like it, I like it. Get the faster back off to buy your item to get there. Didn't have to wait the last 3 seconds of his recall.
The
Genius.
5-head champion himself, Zhao Peng, ladies and gentlemen, bow down. Yeah, in all seriousness,
don't do that.
He did just get caught, but it is going to be nice for DMO to be able to get 2 dragons very early for themselves, setting themselves up for later stages of the game, because this series has very much been about these dragons, about the Dragon Soul. Natural. Going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Solar Flare going to come down. Look at this CC chain. What can you even do? Hextech Ultimatum comes on down. You can 1v3. 1v4 might be a little too much, though.
It will mean that DMO are able to get on towards this mid-turret. Won't be able to take it down before Vici can collapse on them, but at least they're picking up a few more turret plates for themselves before we pass that 14-minute mark. Vici can't capitalize on anything themselves because of how far that lane was pushed up, so DMO don't lose out too much for the 2 picks that they've just had.
They won't lose too much there, but things are starting to look a little bit in favor of DMO, but I have to say the leads are relatively small.
500 gold is pretty much nothing at this stage.
When it comes to composition though, VG, this is the point in the game where they want to ramp things up. Around the 20-minute mark is where their composition is really going to spike in power. They want to fight around the mid-game. So it's going to be down to DMO whether or not they are going to respect that.
I feel like Natural is the bad guy in the John Wick movies who they accidentally pissed off Vici Gaming, and everyone that he killed has been like, we're going topside, we're killing Natural over and over, regardless of what happens elsewhere on the map. It does mean DMO can again set up the vision control in around mid, start to get a little bit deeper into that bottom side jungle, and enable Natural, who's actually swapped sides on the map now, and it's GA who's on top lane duty.
Are you telling me that Natural has killed someone's pet dog? Because that isn't okay.
That was the part that I wanted to stay away from. That was
I'm fully on board with bullying this guy if that's the case.
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't even seen the movie, so that was just a complete shot in the dark.
Oh, you haven't seen John Wick?
I haven't
it's
seen
so
any of them.
Good.
I know,
All
I'm
3
really
of them.
bad at watching movies. Like, absolutely terrible. Even TV series, I'll start watching them and love them, and then I just completely forget to watch them.
So good, dude. I'll watch it with you, man.
That's the plan. We'll do that during our 2.5-week break for Chinese New Year.
Keanu Reeves, man. Love him.
Ooh.
Can't get enough. Here we go, though. DMO trying to force the issue. Mark just slightly shy on his hook there. Will not find his target there. And it feels like things have slowed down, but my question is, if you're the side of VG here, we've been talking about how they're going to spike in the mid-game. What is the battle plan? How do you get things going there?
Well, the Rift Tower will definitely help start things off, but I want to see them shy away from putting all their pressure into the top side of the map. They really want to get this bottom lane turret down so they can protect the Cloud Drake that's about to spawn in a minute 40, but also open them up to use the control that they are getting on that top side to rotate in behind the turret. We've already talked about the dive potential with Ike's and Maestro on the Elise and Leona. You apply that onto Gala, who's not going to be going anywhere fast in these turret scenarios.
Unlucky. Unlucky Blastcone, boys. Better luck next time. GG go next. Forge just going to run it down now to punish his jungler.
Remind me not to play solo queue.
That's my EUS coming out. That's my EUS coming out. I'm sorry, guys. Cube going to get engaged on here. 2v1 right now. Zhao Peng and GA trying to finish the job, and GA will be able to grab himself that kill. Comfortable 2v2.
Natural is going to back away to get towards
2v1.
the tower. 2v1, 2v2 will be happening in that top side of the map. Possibly a 2v3 as Leona is hovering in the bush, but Gala left on his lonesome underneath the turret. This is actually a little bit of a dangerous scenario, but you can see playing towards the side, he knows Vici aren't going to be in.
Nice little turret pickup, and that's without the Rift Herald as well. You can see it in the pocket of Ike's. Oh, Natural's been found once again. Zenith Blade can't stop the hook shot though, and there's a flash to safety. The Iron Solari can't stop you now.
This is again Vici putting a huge amount of pressure onto this top side to get onto Natural, but it's not coming up very well for them. Yeah, you've got a tier 2 tower, but that's not pressure that you're going to be able to do very much with, particularly when the Baron is going to be spawning in the next 2.5 minutes. DMO are fine to just keep pushing in that top side of the map with the likes of GA while having the Cassiopeia in a position to protect the Baron.
I don't know if you saw that, but Forge is not having a good time when it comes to the wall jumps. Just failed to jump on into Baron Pit as well. Cloud Drake is going to be the map style for this one, and DMO looking at their third Drake once again. This is consistent that we're seeing one team just completely control the Drakes each game. DMO on it once again, and they're going to get themselves some ult CDR.
And imagine all the ultimates that are on the DMO side now having, if they do pick up the next one, that 20% CDR reduction. Everyone will benefit from it. The Supreme Display of Talent being on a shorter cooldown, the Moonlight Vigil, and also the ultimate from the Nautilus, the Depth Charge, are going to be crucial in the team fights. And your split push got so much better now as well, because Natural can chase down so many different members.
Now, I want you all to cast your eyes down to the scoreboard that has just
Good
vanished.
Job. Great job.
Magnificent timing there. But what I was going to say is that Xie is building very differently to what we... I'm not sure even why the scoreboard's vanished. Nothing's happening.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Great.
there we go. They literally just did that to troll me, I think. Look at the Cassiopeia build. Archangels instead of Rod of Ages. That's the point I'm making. We've got two different mid laners here with two different styles.
And you're not going to finish your point. You can't finish your point. Rift Herald's gone down.
Here we go. This is an engage from Mark. He's going to go in and go gold, and Ike's just about surviving as the bullet time comes on through. Natural going to be trying to get in, but he's late to the party, and he's got a solar flare down on his face. Rift Herald did not finish off the tower in the meantime. Everybody from VG low, and they might have to back away.
Gala can clear out this wave pretty effectively, so they still can't take down this mid lane turret. Unfortunately, not having the damage to finish off some of the more crucial members like Mark in that scenario means there's still CC available for GA, for Gala to hide behind and try and turn any sort of dive into potential victory for DMO. Vici don't feel confident enough. They'll back away. And this is a real thorn in the side for Vici Gaming, this mid lane turret. It means they can't properly set up for the Baron, and they'd love to try and force that objective, or either force DMO to respond to it to keep the pressure up and force themselves into a strong 25 to 30 minute game. With that mid lane turret still standing, that gives the option for DMO to hug in towards that, push in slowly but surely to keep the vision in their favor, and not have to go overly aggressive or walk in blind to this Baron pit.
Well, iBoy just got real scary. He's got his Infinity Edge as well as that Essence Reaver now. On the other side of the board, Gala's got the same items, but I have to argue that bullet time at 20 minutes into the game, it's going to be all about that ult, especially since he's hit level 11. He's got the second level in that ultimate now, so he's going to be feeling strong if these team fights do go down. The point I was trying to make earlier is when it comes to LPL, these rosters often have 7, 8, 9 players sometimes on some of these rosters. These substitutes, a lot of regions haven't really been able to utilize. This is a great example of the LPL teams utilizing substitutes to be able to have different style players on the roster.
And we've seen that most certainly come in from DMO with swapping out both Bless for Xiao Peng, and we saw Xie now come in for Xiao Wei. I think that it does offer a huge amount of incentive for players as well to try and make a name for themselves, because they know they're always vying for their spot on the team.
But it also offers incentive to stylize as a player as well. Give teams a reason to pick you up. Some of these challenger players, some of these players in the LDL, if they're looking to get onto a squad, maybe become like EasyHoon, right? EasyHoon on SKT a couple of years
Vici's
ago.
coach a couple of while ago, yeah.
Exactly. Like, find a way to make yourself unique and make yourself valuable to the organization. What's spotting out VG here as they collapse on towards this mid lane. They have a very deep flank there.
Natural's also pushing in the bottom lane. They don't have Cube in a position there. He's going to start walking down to try and cover that. So this now gives the option for DMO to know, hey, look, Cube's not going to be joining this fight. He's not going to be trying to flank. We could make something happen here.
You say that. TP is available for Cube. It's still possible.
Look at Natural. Starting to move up. This could be a big flank. It's iBoy's left underneath the tower, but Vici are sneaking this Baron.
Surely not. Surely they can't get away with this. This is daylight robbery. But they're going to be able to pull it off because of the Blade of the Rune King in the pocket of Forge. He has enough damage because of that percent, but also because of the lifesteal. Baron down to half. And Elise is perfect for this because the Spiderlings will tank so many auto attacks. DMO, none the wiser. This is going to be Baron, and this is a strategic masterclass from VG.
So well played by Vici to figure out that they could two-man the Baron. A risky play, because if DMO would figure that out, you've Zhao Peng with this supreme display of talent to turn that very, very quickly. You saw how low Ike's went, but it doesn't matter. Vici sneak away that objective. DMO were none the wiser, but they can turn towards this dragon off the back of that and pick up the Cloud Soul.
Baron for a Dragon Soul. I have to say, if I'm going to trade a Baron, of all of the souls, I would say that the Cloud is the one that I'm most happy to trade it for.
That's fair. I think kind of in around that second to third slot for me. It does depend on the composition, but I think this is a composition that can make great use of it. And now we can see DMO again looking to try and hold on to this mid lane turret, but unfortunately the whole job, the whole reason you held on to this has gone out the window with that fantastic play from Ike's and Forge.
iBoy going to be able to take down that mid lane tower. Now with the Baron buff in their pockets, VG look to capitalize. I was asking how they were going to accelerate this game, what the plan was here. Looks like just sneaking Baron was the answer. Solar Flare falls just shy of Zhao Peng there. DMO going to be able to deter this push for now as Cube heads down towards his bottom lane.
It's a lot of spring cleaning here for Vici though. Unfortunately, with the way they are playing so heavily around topside, this Baron is going to be more used to get down the turrets we expect them to already have, but
here we
in
go.
the jungle.
The combo once again. Zhao Peng feeling the wrath of the Leona MF. Will walk away with his life though, but forces out the supreme display of talent as well as a flash.
Natural is pushing up on this top side though. The tower that's been equalized, or sorry, tower should be equalized what's been taken on the bottom. So if you're only losing an outer mid lane turret for this Baron push, you're pretty happy. But as I say that, iBoy is going to try and push on towards the bottom side, but with everyone else backing, they're not going to keep going for this.
He's just going to be able to clear the minions and then have to head away from this one, unfortunately. Can't look for too much here. Get a tiny bit of damage, but even trading so far. And if you're a DMO fan, that is fantastic news. You lose the Baron, you trade towers evenly, you're more than happy with that.
And you also got that Cloud Drake on top of everything as well. So this is DMO coming out top trumps. This is exactly what you wanted. Now you're looking at an Elder Drake spawning in the next 4 minutes. The thing is though, we still have to be careful of the team fight from Vici. We haven't seen it come to fruition yet because we've had DMO trying to find their footing around the rest of the map. That's not going to be the case. They will be forced to fight for this objective, and that's where I want to see how Vici set things up.
And we have to take another look at the top lane when you mention the team fighting, because Cube has been a focus throughout this series, right? He's been a huge player, especially on the Renekton. But when it comes to team fighting, while he's not had the greatest Kennen game ever, he's 0-2 right now, that doesn't matter. If you get one good flank on Kennen, you can change the entire game. He's got 2 tier 3 items in his pocket. He is ready to pop off. If he can get a good flank, if he can get a good slicing maelstrom across the likes of DMO, that will win VG the game.
And I love that Vici are coming to this dragon early. They know how important it is. They're looking to try and make a pick here to see if they can push this vision in a little bit deeper. But it means that DMO have to very slowly and very carefully surgically remove all the wards that have been placed by this Vici lineup. I got a little bit nervous there.
Yeah.
That Zenith played is a dangerous play to go for if you're the DMO side.
He does have the Gargoyle's Stone Plate, but he does not have a stopwatch right now.
Maestro.
He's in a dangerous spot, honestly. Needs to be careful not to over-force the issue. Ike's will be with him, but they can't 2v5. Natural forced away by the culling here from the side of Forge. It's just going to be control. They're not going to force the issue onto the inhibitor. Taking the blue buff, taking the bot tier 2, and now recalling back towards the Baron area, the Dragon area.
Because we haven't had much in the way of team fights, there's still a lot of these items that we'd expect to have been used still available for people. The likes of the stopwatch, both on Natural, still on Cube, on the bottom lane as well for iBoy. These are things that could come in very clutch, particularly if I'm looking at Natural. Could be Natural's job here, if this team fight at the next Dragon is to kick off, to try and ultimate Cube to stop him from approaching into the team fight, use the stopwatch if the Slicing Maelstrom comes down on top of you, and nullify that entire team fight engage we were talking about from Cube. So there are ways for DMO to try and find avenues into this fight, but they need to get control back of their jungle, and that's what Xiao Peng is on duty for at the moment.
Now, really importantly, we've been talking about the power spikes from the side of VG. We're starting to get a little bit beyond their ideal scenario now, because look at Gala's items. He's finished his Runan's Hurricane. He's going to start to really shred through a team. If he's able to land the Moonlight Vigil, if he has Infernum going into a team fight, he's going to dish out huge amounts of damage with that item set. And when you look towards the likes of Xie as well, he's getting very close to a similar position.
They're also getting the waves in their favor now as well. Natural shoving out in the top lane means that they don't have to worry about that wave being too much of an issue onto their inhibitor turret. They have control as well, somewhat in the bottom lane. They need someone just to push that back in at the moment, but still means they've got some semblance of control. The problem is both objectives are spawning now. You've got the Elder Drake and the Baron. DMO have decided we're going to try and take the Baron as quick as possible and rotate down towards the Elder Dragon, whereas Vici are going, we're fine to give you that. We're looking towards that 20% buff where we can execute anyone on this team.
Maestro looking for the flank there, but he's not going to find it just yet. Baron has now spawned on the map, but Elder Dragon going to be there in 15 seconds. If DMO want to force this objective, they will be trading it. And VG, with the size of their composition, the way that they're looking, they might just be happy to go for the teamfight buff instead.
Cullen not doing much work there. There's the flash engage.
It's onto Mark though, not the it's onto Maestro, sorry, and Natural goes in onto the backline. Bullet time deters the main engage, and now Natural left out alone. Moonlight Vigil does huge damage across the team, but Cube trades it back. Now Gala jumping on forwards with the onslaught. Can't quite finish off iBoy, who goes golden. GA is here dishing out the damage himself, but in goes Forge as well. DMO looking good in this fight, but it's trading back and forth. Two players remain for either team.
Neither wants to try another step forward. They know it can turn on a dime. Forge picks up a little bit more health in the river. Mark, be a little bit careful. You don't want to face tank anything from Ike's or Forge.
This is the duo that already soloed a Baron, or duoed a Baron, I guess. They could go for this Elder Dragon. If it's not checked, this is an objective they can force.
Natural has the TP, though. They could be looking for the Camille to back heal after dealing with this wave in the bottom lane. Still have Mark here trying to play to Terrant. Where's the TP coming in? You've got Xiao Peng rushing down. Forge.
Yeah, okay.
Be careful. Oh, the leash is still here, though. They're keeping this one going.
Oh, no. They've set it up. They've set up a disaster here. VG, what have you done, Forge? Forced the issue maybe a little bit too hard. Dragon will reset, and a teleport forced out here from the side of Cube. Forge maybe biting off more than he could chew right there, and he's put his team in a bit of a bad situation.
The biggest problem for both of these, well, for DMO right now, is they'd love to have Natural try and use that teleport to push an advantage. But with two objectives that are very crucial to hanging on to for DMO's success, they can't have Natural play away. They need him here to begin things as Vici start up the Elder Drake.
Inevitably, we've got a fight on our hands here. 3,000 remaining on the Elder Dragon. It's taken, and it's going to be huge for the team fight. Bullet time comes down as Cube gets one. It's traded back.
DMO are running for the hills.
Disengage here. They realize they cannot take this fight.
No, the Elder Drake has gone over. Even though they lost Maestro in that play, they still come out victorious. Look how low Xiao Peng is as well. Can't stay if they decide to turn towards this Baron, which most likely Vici will be going for. DMO looking to hide out in the bushes, try and catch Vici in transit to the Baron.
But what can you do? If you can test this Baron, what on earth can you do in a team fight against this type of composition when they've got Elder as well? It's almost impossible.
Well, DMO are looking to try and just sneak away possibly this Baron before the reset timers come in from Vici. They know there's no teleport onto Cube, who was spotted in that bottom lane, but they don't want to go for it. You can see question mark pings coming out from Vici on that Baron. They thought the DMO were going to rush it, but they haven't gone for it.
They haven't gone for it just yet. And the delay there on the Baron is great news for VG because it just gives them time to get the Slicing Maelstrom back up, get the Eclipse back up, or the Solar Flare, sorry, and get bullet time as well. They'll be ready for this next team fight. They'll be ready to take the Baron. They'll be ready to take control of this game.
There's the tiniest moment where Cube won't have the Slicing Maelstrom up, but unfortunately DMO cannot find the fight, that moment in time where potentially they could get in before the Slicing Maelstrom is up. A minute left on Elder buff, and DMO really just looking to continue clearing out these waves, lose as little as possible, but Vici are in control. They can turn towards the Baron. They dictate the pace right now, at least for the next 45 seconds.
You've got to keep your eyes on the ultimates coming out from iBoy and coming out from Cube in this next fight. They will determine everything. If Cube can get in the right position, that will win a fight. If iBoy can get a bullet time across the team, that will win a fight. But if DMO can stop them, maybe there's hope for this squad.
Level down for Xiaopeng. He can't go for the steal. They need to take the fight. Great damage comes in from Gala. The Moonlight Vigil will force everyone back.
Yeah, the lifesteal is going to be here, but I think maybe VG just have to back away here. And that is going to mean that DMO going to start this Baron off. Only 8 seconds on the Elder Dragon buff. They're not going to have it for this fight. The executes are not going to be available. There goes the Solar Flare. Huge bullet time across the team, but Gala survived. Down into GA now as the Slicing Maelstrom onto everyone. Natural the next target. Mark goes down. Gala is next. And VG have found the fight they were searching for.
There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere behind. They're left stewing in the pot at Baron Pit. Cube, iBoy step up, and now Natural is left to defend.
Look at the flash cooldowns on the side of DMO. Everybody about to get flash up. If they'd had it, the bullet time couldn't win the fight.
And at the last hurdle, DMO fall. They'd done so well in tiptoeing around Vici Gaming, making sure they didn't give them the opportunity to find the team fight, but at the last second, Vici find it and will take the victory.
It's not... Oh, Natural gets a cheeky little kill at the end there. He's going to find himself consolation prize. It was not pretty. It was not what we wanted. Hang on, can they actually end right here? Xiaopeng going to be able to get one kill for himself. The game is going to end. VG, they've had some tribulations here in this series, but they're going to close things out. Coma's legacy remains in... that we've ever seen here in the LPL. But clean is not really why you watch LPL, is it? Let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen. And it is all about Forge right there when it comes to the damage, but iBoy was right there behind him on the misfortune. And it has to be said, Maestro and iBoy with the MF Leona combo multiple times having fantastic situations. Xiaopeng was not enjoying that game.
We also saw some flashes of strategic brilliance from Vici Gaming. The two-man Baron from Ix and Forge to get themselves set up and rolling, to get control back of the map. Vici finally looked like you can see Coma pulling the strings behind them and getting this thing to work.
I'm wondering if he got a walkie-talkie backstage or something.
Something in the air.
Communicate, because
like,
game
God's
one,
sake, go to the Baron.
Game one, VG did not look like they were. They coordination is the opposite of what game 1 was for VG. So I don't know what he was saying in between the games, giving him a couple of bananas, maybe a can of energy drink or something, just like, come on, guys, this is the plan, this is how we do this.
And look at the results. They do manage to pick it up. And to be fair, that second game looked far, far better than... the third game looked far, far better than game number 2. And I think going back to that more team fight orientated style definitely worked for them. And unfortunately, Dominus couldn't find an in to get natural up and rolling. And again, tossing this in there, Xiaopeng on this Kiana, not the impact we were really hoping to see.
I mean, all junglers on this Kiana. This series, Kiana was just like, get it out. Just stop picking it, honestly. Like, every other series of the LPL, it's been amazing. But these guys just don't really seem to have Kiana in their wheelhouse. But overall, definitely an impressive series from VG. I was impressed by the draft as well, because it was a different style to what we've seen out of other coaches. Just going for the targeted bans. And what I realized, I think, is that the ban strategy from Coma wasn't about the enemy carries. It wasn't about banning out the enemy mid laner because it was the enemy mid laner. It was about banning it around Forge, setting Forge up for a winning matchup, setting him up so that he could win lane and do more around the map.
And I think that a big facet of that was getting this Lucian 2 games in a row. Having that flexibility in the draft just gives you so many more options when you're trying to figure out where the hell am I putting these champions. Lucian can go bot, he can go top, he can go mid. Yeah. And having that there meant that it was so difficult for Dominus to figure out where do we try and figure out what this is going to do. Yep. This is the puzzle piece that you've got at the end, or well, when you start things off, you're like, this looks completely different to everything else, and we don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah, fantastic drafts coming out from VG. Fantastic team fighting coming out from them in that final game as well. And I'm impressed. I'm a little bit heartbroken, though, for Dominus. It has to be said that, you know, we saw glimmers of that Dominus roster that was pushing through at the end of last season. They had that win streak, and Natural, especially in that last game, had a massive highlight, 1v3, or at least 1v1v1. But
yeah.
I don't know, it just wasn't quite there. Natural in the other games did not have that kind of performance at all, and on the Camille, he didn't really follow up on those kills in any way.
It felt that the team never set him up for success, though. They were always playing away from him even after he got the 3 kills. Maybe if they'd started to have Xiaopeng play a little bit more towards the Camille, you get the... We talked about already, I mean, you hit 6 on Xiaopeng, you're already pathing towards that top side, dive onto Cube, take the tower, and then this game becomes a very different beast for Vici to try and take over. But because they never got rid of that top lane turret, Ike's and Forge had control to go for that Baron. There was a lot of plays where Dominus could have started the snowball, but never really got to do so.
Well, it's going to be a big breath of relief for the side of VG Gaming. And all of you guys, or Vici Gaming, sorry, all of you guys at home that are supporting the squad, you can be happy with this one. Both iBoy and Coma going like, oh, look, we gave up our legacies for this. We've left our long-term orgs for this. So far, things are going to be okay by the looks of things. They get this last win before Chinese New Year. And it's a big one as well, because you're going into a big break. It's good to start that kind of boot camp session, if you will, off with a positive note.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to at least give you a bit of relief coming in towards that 2.5 week break. Maybe you don't have to go as hard on the scrims as if you'd gone 0-2, but definitely this team is one that needs to look at how they want to play these early games, what went wrong in this series, particularly in that game number 1 and certainly game number 2, so they can remedy that before they go up against a lot of the guys at the top of the table that they will struggle with.